Have you ever seen a UFO? Bigfoot or some ghosts? On Tactiles, there's Susie. She is the host. We really like to hear from you. You can tell us then all about the aliens. And if you're one of them, we really need to know. We really need to know. Really need to know, or we will come and get you in the night.
Hi, welcome to Out of This World with Susan and Willy. I'm Susan, your host, and today we're interviewing Mark D'Antonio from MUFON. MUFON stands for the Mutual UFO Network, and he's also their special effects and photography expert.
Ooh,
I know, that makes you sound so cool, Mark.
I know it does.
So
And I
anyways,
can't even get my phone to be stable here.
I won't mention that.
No.
Mark is using 2 cans and a piece of string to talk to us right now.
I am. It seems like I am.
So, Mark, I'm not going to look at you because I need to look at the camera, so don't be offended.
I'm not offended because I can't see you anyway.
Oh, that's right. Okay. You can't see me making any faces. So I was holding a gift up for you, and you couldn't even see what it was.
It was astronaut ice cream.
It was. Oh, you saw that. Okay.
I saw it briefly, and then I didn't know what it was, and then I put it together, as you were showing me. And I
Astronaut.
apologize for my voice, but for people that don't know, I had to have surgery, and they had to do a tracheotomy, so my voice is all messed up,
That's okay.
and one of my vocal cords is paralyzed, so
Oh, wow.
it doesn't make for a lot of fun interview, I'm sure.
No, we're just thrilled that you're here with us. Trust me.
I am too.
Okay. So Mark has been MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, has been in existence since 1969, and Mark has been a member since 1971, which was before he was born. So
Yeah, right.
so anyways, so Mark is here to tell us. He has all sorts of surprises for us today with what he's going to share with what he does for MUFON and for his own special effects business that he has. And so, Mark, whenever you're ready, you can start telling us things.
Well, the mystery of unidentified flying objects has been something that we have all been intrigued by, but that many people look up in the sky and, say, I don't believe there's anything out there. We, on the other hand, those of us who believe that there is life in the universe, we know that it's very likely that life out there found us here. Mm-hmm. And when I go to the MUFON Symposium in September, my talk is called Light Years to Earth, and it discusses the probability of life out there and the probability that they've come here. And then I'm going to show the attendees a one-to-one mock-up of our UFO hunting system, which I'm working on with Academy Award winner Douglas Trumbull. And Doug's been a very good friend of mine for 5 years, and we hunt UFOs together. And it's really cool when you've got a guy like that, of that caliber, on your side. So, excuse me. So that's something that's very intriguing, and that's sort of a late development in my ufology career, if you will. But the next thing the thing that's very important is getting the word out to people, telling them what's happening, what's going on, and sharing with them your experiences. And there's books and there's movies and there's all kinds of stuff out there. But, straight from the horse's mouth, me being the horse or whatever, you want to be able to share with people your experiences as well.
That's true.
And it's a little hard to share your experiences if you've had no exposure to this topic. You may not know what happened to you.
Right.
In my case, I had an experience, and I know what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And various members of my family have had experiences
Wow.
that they didn't understand. And, we're not here to say, look what happened to us.
No.
We're here to say, I can't believe what happened to us,
Right, right.
you know?
Yes.
And we're looking for explanations as well. And so we have a vested interest in finding out for ourselves, as well as uh, other people hearing about it from us.
Okay.
You see. So, that's a little bit of the background of the interest.
So did this experience happen to you when you were a child?
I had experience when I was a child of missing time,
Okay.
and that's in Bill Hall's book too, because he put that in there.
Bill Hall, Bill Hall
Bill
as well.
Hall,
Bill Hall
yeah.
as well as you will be speakers at our Greater New England UFO Conference in October.
That's right.
That's right.
And in Bill's new book, Haunted House Diaries, there's a whole description of a missing time incident that I had when I was a kid. I went on a field trip,
Yep.
had a little brown bag lunch, getting on the bus. Yay. I get on the bus, I sit down with my bag, and I'm waiting to go to Burr Pond in Torrington, Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
And from what I am told, I went to Burr Pond, but nobody saw me. And I remember getting off the bus, still with a bag lunch, didn't eat it.
You didn't eat your lunch?
No, I never had it. It was still in my hand.
Wow.
And I have no recollection of what happened. None.
Oh my gosh.
But the night I got home from Burr Pond, I had a seizure in an empty lot next to my house, and they had to take me to the hospital in an ambulance because they didn't know what was wrong.
Oh my gosh.
They had no idea what was wrong. And neither did I. They said it looked like it was some kind of an induced epileptic seizure for some reason. And they're trying to find out what I was exposed to during the day to see if maybe I had an epileptic seizure from something I saw or experienced. And I didn't know. So they're trying to find out what that was. And I just said to them, well, in an effort to fill in the gaps, because I didn't know, I said, maybe I fell in a dock at Burr Pond. I think I fell in a dock. Yes, that's what it was. I kept saying that to them. So they looked for a concussion, and then they treated it as a concussion without any evidence of concussion. So that was a very interesting development, especially since Burr Pond, in all of its history to the present day, has no dock.
Okay, so they didn't even go to investigate. Okay. Good.
No.
Good.
No. This was an emergency room. They didn't want to investigate.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
But I just knew that I had a seizure. They wanted me to tell them something had happened, so I did. I gave them an event. And I made the event up. I lied because I
You didn't know.
didn't know what else to do. They're adults. They needed to hear something, so I gave them something.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, the details of that event are outlined in Bill Hall's book.
Okay.
I mean, that's not the only thing that's happened to me. I've had, in an old house here in town, where I used to live.
Where did you used to live? What town was that?
Terryville, Connecticut.
Terryville, Connecticut. Okay.
I was awakened on 3 consecutive nights to noises up at the top of the house, the peak of the house, and this is in an upstairs bedroom. And I had 2 greyhound dogs that were sleeping under an open window. And it was August, much like it is now. Oh, it is August.
Oh, it's August.
Yeah, and I heard banging on the roof. It was sort of like a segment of 3. Bum, 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 bum. 3, 3, 3. And I didn't know what that was. So the first night I heard it, I fell back asleep. The second night I heard it, I said, "What is that?" And I get up, and the dogs are both looking up at the peak of the roof too. They're looking up there. So I didn't know what they were doing. So I leaned forward to look out of the window, and I craned my neck around. As I did that, I saw a bright flash of light in my face. Boom! And I was flash blinded for a second or two.
Wow.
And when I came out of that and I could see again, the dogs were gone below me. They had bolted out of the room. And one was in a closet full of old laundry, and one was just sitting outside the door looking in.
Oh my gosh.
And that was on the second night. On the third night, though, that's when the whoever was doing this hit pay dirt, because they came in, whatever it was, and I awoke. Bam! I was awake, like I am now, wide awake, and I could see ahead of me, but I couldn't move my eyes. My eyes were frozen in position.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't move my head. I couldn't move anything. And I saw in my peripheral vision a black figure, dark silhouetted figure, move across the window where there was street lights in the distance, so they made a frame of the window you could see. And I saw something moving out and moving around, and it came around to me. And I thought, well, that's weird. Why is there something in this room? And I thought maybe it was, my wife who was getting up out of bed, but it wasn't. And when whatever it was came closer to me, it extended something toward my face. And it kind of it was like imagine about this diameter and size. Hold on. Minor disruption. It was about this diameter and size.
Okay.
And it was white, and it was glowing. And it went back and forth in front of my face like this. And I didn't know what it was. Then I was awake, and it was morning. Okay?
Wow.
And
So it was like the size of a pencil.
what's that?
So it was like the size of a pencil?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a glowing pencil. It was like going like this in front of my face,
Okay.
I didn't know what it was. And I could only see it when it came into my vision. And then, it looked like two of them because it was cross-eyed. It was like right up in my front vision.
Huh.
So, in any case, I woke up in the morning and pushed off the pillow, unable to breathe. And I was like gasping for air.
Oh my gosh.
Hey guys, you gotta keep it quiet. All right? I was gasping for air. And when I pushed off the pillow, you could see that the pillow was saturated in blood. And I didn't know what that was, but I touched my face right here. And I was like, ow, whoa, this really hurts. And I went and I looked in the mirror and it looked fine. Okay? I had no blood on me anywhere else, but, this was all perfectly clean. So, when I pushed off the pillow and saw that blood, I was obviously stunned. I was obviously concerned. But I never went to the doctor, all right, for 2 years. And I don't know why. But when I finally went to the doctor, he said, well, let me have a look up there. And he looks up there and he sees that there was something up there. And he goes, wow. He goes, that's the biggest thing I've ever seen up in someone's nose. He goes, I think that's a polyp,
Wow.
And I said, well, if it's a polyp, how do those get made? What happens with those? How do you make those? And he says that, they can seed around a foreign object.
Mm-hmm.
Foreign object? Because I remember maybe something was shoved up there. I don't remember that, but I remember thinking something could have been shoved up there. So that's exactly the premise I was running on. So he goes up there, he sees this big thing, and he pulls it out in the office. And he goes, wow, that's the biggest thing I've ever seen in someone's nose, the biggest polyp. I've never seen one bigger. I mean, it's the size of 2 thumbs.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
Like
anyway,
like the tip of your thumb?
no, the whole thumb.
The whole thumb?
Two of them, side by side.
Wow.
Yeah, it was massive coming out of there.
How did he pull? He pulled it out through your nostril?
Yeah, he did. You know?
Wow.
It was like the movie Total Recall, where he's, was it Total Recall, where he's pulling the thing out of the tracker out of his nose. Okay?
Wow.
It looked that bad to me, but it was soft, so it came right
so it's
out.
malleable, so it was able to pull
Yes.
it. Okay.
So anyway, he said, I wonder how you got that. And I said, well, can you check the inside of that thing and make sure there's nothing in the center of it? And he says, why? And I made the mistake of telling the story I just told you.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, well, I don't think that you have to worry about that. Ha, ha, ha. It ain't no aliens. Ha, ha, ha.
Just give me the thing.
Yeah. And I said, well, just let me know, all right, when you, because you have to send it to pathology.
And have a
When you get a result back
So
from
it's a
pathology,
biopsy.
let me
Okay.
know.
Okay.
He's like, okay, give me a call in a week. So I called him in a week, and he said, now, whenever you call a doctor's office, when has the doctor ever gotten on the phone with you? The doctor himself. Very rare. Usually talking to their the physician's assistant, the PA,
Right.
right, or someone else.
Right.
No. I called, and the doctor got on the phone with me. And right away, I thought, oh, it's something bad.
Right.
But his first words were, I don't want you to worry. He goes, I'm sure it was benign. And I said, you're saying it like you don't have a result. And he goes, well, and he paused. This has never happened in my office, he says, but they lost it. It's gone. I said, missing? He goes, yeah. No. So I just said, oh, all right. So I have a benign polyp thing. Okay, fine. So I went home. No result, other than what he said. And a couple years later, I had to go back for something in my throat.
Okay.
And I reminded him of that incident. I said, hey, do you remember when you never got that report for that thing in my nose? And he goes, yeah, he goes, I remember that. And he looked at my records, and in my records, there was a report. On
Really?
this thing in my nose. It wasn't on the proper form, but there was like a handwritten note saying it was a benign polyp.
Okay.
Didn't make any sense. So then I said to him, I go, wow, that's really strange. I can't imagine all this stuff, that we don't know anything about. He goes, well, he goes, yeah, he goes, I know about that kind of thing. He goes, about the whole, the concept of not knowing whether something's benign or malignant in your face or a cancerous thing or whatever. He goes, you didn't have that. You just had a benign thing. And he goes, by the way, don't you do work for the Navy? I said, yeah, I do. I say some of which we don't and can't talk about. And he goes, that's really interesting. I got to tell you something. And he stands up. Remember, this is 2 years after the event.
Yeah.
Shuts the door of the treatment room, and he sits on the treatment table with me. Very awkward for me.
Yeah.
Okay? And he says, I got to tell you. He says, I'm retiring. He goes, but I had a top secret clearance and I just gave it up. You did? Yes. He says, my team was the only one to ever shoot down a satellite in space using a nuclear weapon.
Oh, wow.
I said, you sent a nuke into space? That's against all the treaties.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, he goes, we did it. We cleared 1,300 miles of the Pacific Ocean in all directions so that we could do it.
Oh, my God.
He goes, it was a very, very Very odd event. And I said, wow. So you gave up a top secret clearance just recently? He goes, yeah, just this year. And then it hit me. It didn't get, the thing that was in my nose didn't get lost. He reported it and it was taken.
Yeah.
Because anything like that sets off bells and whistles, gets someone's attention.
Right.
And then they come in and they just say, well, what was that thing? Let me see it. We'll bring it back next week. You know?
Yeah. Right.
Or whatever. So I never, I put it together finally and I never saw it. But that was it. That was the whole story. And to this day, I have no answers.
He never told you. So how many years ago was that? We're at 2015 now.
Yeah, I would say this was in 1990 or so, 1991.
Is that doctor still alive?
Yes, he's alive, but he's retired.
Okay.
And he's, I tried to locate him.
Yeah.
And I can't find him.
You can't find him?
No.
The same as your thing from your nose.
Yeah, right. You can't find that.
They're in the
either.
same place, right? They're on vacation.
Exactly.
You're in Tahiti together. I just know it.
Right. He's looking this little thing in a jar, going, "Hey, look, who are you again?"
Look what I've got. That's right. Wow. So that's so was it painful when he removed it? But then that was it was encapsulated. So if it was something that was sharp, it wouldn't have mattered anyways.
Yeah. No, it wasn't painful.
No.
It was just a nasty feeling,
Yeah.
having it come out of your nose. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about that event other than that it was actually a very trying experience when it was being
Sure.
put in there, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I thought all the blood on the pillow the next day
Yeah.
indicated that I put up a hell of a fight,
Yes.
and I had nothing to base it on, other than the fact that I know me, and I would have put up a hell of a fight if I could.
Sure.
So that was very interesting.
And then you were an adult when this happened.
Oh yeah.
So that was that's See that this is where you never know. Did you have a lot of nose, a lot of bloody?
A lot of what?
Did you have a lot of bloody noses or nosebleeds when you were a kid?
No.
Okay. Wow.
No, only when I let someone punch me in the face once in a while.
You let them punch you in the face.
Well,
No, wow, of course.
I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I never had bloody
Okay.
noses.
Okay. That's very interesting. So, because I used to get them a lot when I was a kid, and then once I went to an eye, nose, and throat specialist, and they were trying to make my nose bleed, and then they were going to cauterize it.
Yeah.
But then my nose wouldn't bleed no matter what he did inside of my nose. So that was kind of strange.
Even when he punched you in the face?
He didn't. I would leave that to my mother, but
That you wouldn't allow, yeah.
yeah, right. That's fascinating. So, in regards to your other research, I mean, at the time, were you doing UFO research when all this was happening? Was the doctor aware of these things?
No, the fact is I wasn't doing any research at the time. Okay, I was just a passive member of MUFON at the time, and never thought about it that much. So I wasn't their chief photo and video analyst like I am now. I was just a field investigator, a
Okay.
normal field investigator, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at the time, so then, did you tell anybody else besides the doctor about this back then, or no?
Well, now I'm public about it. I tell
Yeah.
people publicly at the conferences. I tell them that this happened. It took me a number of years to be able to
Come to
talk about it because it was very, very difficult, to talk about.
Sure. To come to terms with something like this, that a foreign object was placed in your body and then was there for a couple of years. And it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You have to wonder though too, if you'd gone to the doctor immediately, what would have happened, if it would have been encapsulated at that point, or what?
It would probably have been noticeable on an X-ray. and no one did an X-ray.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So then,
I mean, this is just the beginning. I mean, here in this house, we've had a number of crazy events that
Yep.
required us calling the police because, um, we were, uh, I was in bed
Mhm.
and I heard the little child walking in the attic over my head. I could follow his footsteps across the floor, and then when he turned, you could hear the grit under the ball of his foot.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, what are one of my kids doing up in the attic at this hour?
Right.
And I sprang out of bed. I went in and I looked at their beds, and they were both in their bed. So I was like, okay, that's weird. I could still hear the little bum, 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 bum. Little feet walking.
Yeah.
An upright individual walking. You could hear it. I went in and I went around the corner, looked at the entrance to the attic, which was up a ladder
Okay.
in the loft. The door, which is a big piece of 1-inch thick plywood,
Okay.
was still latched in place. So whatever was in there didn't get in that way. So I immediately thought maybe the ends of the attic eaves, where the louvered vents are on either end of the house.
Yeah.
So I called the police, let them know. And of course, they know what I do for a living, so they were hearing the heartbeat. And, 2 cars come up the driveway, and they immediately get out and they start looking around. They come in the house, they search the house, all locations but the attic. And for some reason, throughout the whole event, not one person said, "Let's go in the attic."
That would have been logical.
Yeah,
Okay.
and no one knows why they never thought of going in the attic when it was the attic we were calling about.
Thank
And
you.
we talked about that.
Thank you so much. We'll look forward to your talk on that, and we thank you very much for joining us today, sharing your UFO experiences
You're welcome.
and your UFOtog. Can't wait to see that. So we appreciate it, and I look forward to talking again with you soon.
Well, thank you very much, Susan. It's been wonderful to be here. And my voice should be better by the time the conference comes around. So
I'm sure you'll be singing like Pavarotti.
I hope not. I can't do that now.
Can I play the violin afterwards? Well, I
Oh,
couldn't
my
before.
gosh. Only if Rome burns.
That's right. All right, George. Thank you so much.
Have you ever seen